Hey guys, welcome to DevOpsSchool. Kubernetes is one of the most popular technology in cloud computing as of today. Learning Kubernetes is essential for any DevOps professional, and one of the most in-demand certification is Kubernetes Administration. In this session and in this series, we are going to learn various aspects of Kubernetes Administration, which will help you to prepare for the Certified Kubernetes Administration exam or CKA exam. This series is divided into 20 parts, therefore subscribe to our channel and follow the playlist for complete understanding.
But before that, let me ask you a few things. Are you dreaming of a career with higher pay and more responsibilities? Or are you ready to take your skills to the next level this year? Then start investing in DevOpsSchool certification level courses, which will help you to emerge skills for a wide range of entry-level roles and as well as higher potential future positions. But with thousands of courses online and in classroom worldwide, finding the right one for your career goals can be difficult. You can consider our courses like Agile Developer, Agile QA, DevOps Certified Professionals, Site Reliability Engineering, DevSecOps, and Masters in DevOps Engineering, where you will have access to well-structured, easy-to-follow course content that has been developed and will be delivered by industry professionals. You can join on our training programs globally through online platforms, and if you are looking for classroom workshops, then we have regular sessions available in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi NCR, Mumbai, and in Pune. Simply compare our many courses, find the one that suits your style and schedule best, and start today.
Okay, so if you remember last session, what we did, we set up a master. So if you look at this here, this is the master component, and I need to know whether this master setup is done or not. So how do I know? How do we know that actually whether the master has been completed, set up or not? I want to know whether API server is running or not, etcd is running or not, basically pod controller manager is running or not, scheduler is running or not, all this thing is running or not. I would like to know, but how can I query? That's the problem. So remember, you can query only from the worker. Okay, now the question is, what would make a worker eligibility possible? That means which machine can be called as a worker, right? Which machine can be called as a worker, right? So which machine? So here you see here, this is the master and this is the worker. Okay, am I talking wrong? I think, is it right statement? A worker will talk to the query the master for the human being or workstation. What do you think? That statement which I was making is worker will query to know that whether API server is running or not, etc is running or not, and all stuff like that. Really? What do you think?
Should be workstation.
Should be workstation, no? So I think you guys are also listening blindly. So I'm telling you blindly. So please be mindful about it. I may teach you or tell you something conflicting statement as well, right? This should be workstation. Workstation will query your server and do the rest of the things. Correct? That's a thing. So workstation. Now the question is, how do we set up workstation? So see here, I am teaching you now workstation. Okay, so today's topic is workstation. So guys, here workstation has kubectl. So now think about it in a simple way. MS Paint, here MS Paint, this is your what do you say, master. Okay, and this is your worker. I'm not talking about the right now this one, but workstation. This is my laptop and this is me. So I work with my laptop. Laptop send the instruction query to what? Scheduler, right? Correct, guys? Are you there?
API server.
API server, right?
API server, right?
Connect API
Yeah.
server.
Correct, yes. It will talk to, always remember, API server is the front end for the entire cluster. Nothing works without API server. He's the boss. He's the everything right now. Okay, so now here the question is not what API server connect. The question is, you're in cluster, you have a one machine, two machine, three machine, four machine, 500, 200 machines are there. How this guy, this laptop, in this you have a kubelet will come to know which is my API server, which is my master, which is my API server. How? That's a question. Understand that. So that is a question. So workstation has a one utility, one executable, one applications, which is called kubectl. Now kubectl by default read one file. Understand that. Kubectl by default read one file, and that is called config file. Okay, that's a kubectl read this. Okay, just a second, hold on, give me a second. Okay, so here by default kubectl gives this kubectl gives this config file. Okay, so here workstation you have it, then kubectl you have it, and kubectl you have a config file. Okay, config file, and then now config file has what? Now config file has what? That's a question. What you have in config file? So config file is a config file which has cluster API address, permission, token. Okay, so cluster works which has a cluster API address, permission, token. Okay, so these are the three things which we have in a workstation in the config file. Now the question is, let's understand this other problem. Let's say you are the special guy. You are the special guy, and you are the administrator of multiple cluster. Here I'm not talking about the one cluster, multiple cluster. Here I am talking about the multiple cluster. Cluster number 1, cluster number 2, cluster number 3, cluster number 4. And you have only one laptop, right? You have only one laptop. So how can you work sometime here, sometime here, sometime here, sometime here? And when I say cluster, this means API server, API server, API server, API server. Now this is a dev, QA, staging, production. I'm just giving you just some visualization and stuff like that. How can you work? And that possibility can be possible using the config file. So now config file has a different section. That's one of the section is clusters. Okay, what is this? Clusters. Understand that. I'll put it in this way. I'm just putting a skeleton. Okay, cluster, and here you have a cluster 1, cluster 2. Just when I say cluster, this is the API address. Okay, cluster 3. So this is the API address. API address, API address, and certificates and tokens, stuff like that. Okay, this not permission. Okay, so this is the cluster. So now I was working in this as per the images. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 cluster. I was working 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now in this cluster you have a 4. Cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3, cluster 4. Now in this you have a users. Now why we users? Remember, in order to authenticate this API, you need a particular user, correct? Or user authentication. So now here what we will put in this config file, we'll put all the users separately, and users can be enabled with the token also and certificate also. Okay, so user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, and stuff like that. Okay, so this is the users. Now you got the clusters, you got the users. Okay, you got the clusters, you got the users. Okay, now You got the clusters, you got the users. Now next thing is, see here is the cluster address. So here API address is there, let's say HTTP 4.4.4.6444, something like that. Okay, this is the address. Now here I got the user information, user and certificate combination, that's a permission. This is the access. Okay, but the question is here, I'm in a problem here. Which user will be a which user will be which certificate will work against which cluster? Did you understand the problem? Which user? I have a 4 user.
Yeah.
4. Did you understand the problem?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is where we have to have a mapping, and that mapping of the cluster and user, that is done through contexts. Then we set up a context 1, okay, context 2, context 3, and context 4. And here we set, okay, fine, no problem, cluster 1, whatever we have is having a this, cluster 4, whatever we have is this one. Did you understand that? Are you getting these points?
Yeah, it's like permission. We understand this, but a question is, could one user have access to more than clusters, or could the one cluster
Yeah,
can have more
possible,
than one users?
possible. Because remember, certificate, it's all a game of certificate. Okay, so I'm just not confusing you with the too many things, but possible, it's simple. Do you know the parts, how the certificate work? One certificate, see, it's like this. I will generate a certificate and I will send to my CA. CA is like API server. If you give the authentication to that certificate, that means I'm allowed to access. Simple. So it's like approving a certificate. It's like there's a CA guys which is sitting and who will approve my certificate and generate a token for me and then give it to me. So if you want to know more about it, I would request you to one reading actually, that it will help you. Anyways, some part of it I will explain you in a RBAC session, but I would like ask you to read it, how certificate authentication and TLS authentication, that's important, works. Okay, and trust me, actually, if you do not understand this one, then you will miss 10 points actually, minimum. You need to know this. Okay, so that is the thing. So guys, what is here problem? One problem, I wanted to manage multiple clusters. So here in config file, I have a multiple cluster user and context. Now I set it up, but the question is, am I, sir, there is some noise from some, yeah, yeah. So I can only, I'm an admin, I can, as a person, I can only work one cluster at a time, right? I can only set default. It's like a default setup. Okay, default, which should be the default cluster. So right now I have a 4 cluster, but one should be the default cluster, one should be the one which I am working against it. So if I write some command and I forgot to specify the cluster name, that should go to that cluster. Are you getting my points? Are you getting my points?
Yeah, Rajesh. Yeah.
Yeah, and that should be current context. It should be or 2 or 3 or 4. Okay, this is the, it can be one class. It's like a default, or you say set the current context. So guys, this is the history of config file. I'll show you the magic now. See here, understand that who can become a workstation. So let me tell you, theoretically, conceptually, any machines can become a workstation. Again, I'm repeating, any machines can become a workstation. A machine which has a kubectl and config file, and config file has a clusters, users, context, current context. That's all. Now the question is, who will generate a config file for me? I have no idea. So guys, when you set up a cluster first time using the init option, then the clusters, this config file is been generated by Kubernetes. Look at this here. You have got this one, and only I will request you to read this one. Only the one selected one, not any other things. See, to start using your cluster, you need to run the following as a regular user. Now the question is why they are suggesting to run as a regular user. There's no as such constraint. You can run as a root user also, any user also. But what it says, regular user means the user which you use very frequently. If you are using root user very frequently, no problem. If you are using non-root user very frequently, no problem. But whichever, the regular user, do what? See here, very simple thing. Here in this, you are converting. See here, making directory, copying a file from this this location, which is a master, to this location under the user home, and then giving the permission. So basically, here, as per this line, as per this statement, you are converting master also acting like a workstation. Are you getting my points?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
well,
guys, in real time, you will not.
I did not get that.
Okay, what is the where you got confusion? Hello.
Understand about the user part. So is the user? Yeah, can you hear me, Rajesh?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you, sir.
Yeah. So what I'm asking is the user part, like the user.
Gaurav, your voice is breaking
Yeah, I'm
in
asking about
between.
the user part.
Go ahead with the question. What is the user part means? Here, you're talking about
Sorry.
the.
So is the user the user with which we created the cluster, or something
That is a
else?
question. That is a question. So that's a question. Like, let me tell you here. Yes, probably you have a good confusion. Actually, it's not a question at all. It's a confusion. Think about it. Am I log into any machines? Am I log into any machines? So I will be using the same user ID which I have in the machines. I can be using to log into that API server. What is this? This is API server, HTTP. So can you, simple logic, think about it. Can I log in to this API, that HTTP based API using the machine IP address and machine username and password? Right? Are you getting the points? Hello, Gaurav?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it cannot be. That's what I said here. Actually, this is there the user. When you set up a cluster, using Git Kubernetes init, then one user and one certificate is been created by Kubernetes. Again, I'm repeating. Whenever you set up a cluster,
Right.
then one user and one certificate is being created by Kubernetes init process. Now they are asking you, boss, you see, it's like a default admin access. You got it first time, this admin access you got it, and this access you can use for anything. Now if you want to do the access management, authentication, authorizations and all, you can again introduce the stuff like that. So I'll talk about this in later little bit, but I'm telling you, I need to log in. It's like this: you set up a Jira, you have a default user ID and password which should be super admin, or you set up a SonarQube, you have a default ID which should be super admin. You set up a Jenkins, you have a default user ID and password who should be super Jenkins, a super admin. So here this is the super admin permission file.
So
This is the
Rajesh, if I am using like a Sonar, Jenkins, or any DevOps tools, in that time I have to do the configuration in that mission, right?
Right, and that is done by Kubernetes init for you. So they created one user and certificate. Actually, a little bit I'm teaching in a wrong way, but I have to teach you wrong way, because if you want to understand. So this, see here, this is the cluster, this is the user, this is the context, and this is the current context. This file has to be there in the config file, and config file, which basically kubectl reads it. Now what has been done, Kubernetes has created a config file for you, and in this config file you have a one cluster, one user, one context, and one current context. But you, if you want to manage a multiple cluster, you can do so. So here the question is, which user is being used for authenticator? Let me tell you here, the user and certificate. Here I'm not talking about this user ID and password, remember, it's certificate. Here also I said, see here, user and certificate is been generated by KubeADM init process. Now the question is, can you do it manually for other users? Yes, why not? What is the process? I will teach you. But remember, here it's not like a user ID and password. Here you have a certificates and username. Are you getting my points?
So Rajesh,
Yes,
if I have an kubectl on one mission, okay, for the Kubernetes, I have a Jenkins in one mission, I have an
Okay.
water sonar in one mission,
Wait.
so I can directly
Wait. Where this Jenkins you are adding here? Why the Jenkins you are adding? I added Jenkins because I wanted to tell you, for every tool there is a default user set which has a super permission. I added Jenkins and Jira for that context. Where is your
okay, no,
context in this?
yeah, if we are going to use the different users, okay, so means I have an 4 missions, okay, I'm installed one mission on
No, there is
Jenkins,
no 4 machine. No, sir. This is not a
okay,
4
only
machine. I said,
single connection.
no. This is a cluster. I said, I think you missed it. It's, did
No,
I
this
say
is a
machine?
cluster, Rajesh. This
Yeah.
I'm not speaking about this thing. When you're connecting
Uh-huh.
from the outside at user, the
Uh-huh.
kubectl, so
Uh-huh.
there I can use a different servers, right? See, you are using only one mission here. See, I have a interaction for the 4 missions. One mission we
Yeah.
have an Jenkins, one mission I have an other DevOps tool. So I have to configure those missions. This Kubernetes kubeadmin configuration file in that. So directly I can interact without kubectl to the API server, right?
Yeah. So see what I'm trying to say. See, just again, one more time I'll explain you. This is your laptop, which is in front of you, and this is you. You have a kubelet here, kubectl here, and config file will be here. And this config file have all the details which I discussed just now. Because of that, it'll talk to that API server of your cluster. Now, you question is, this kubelet and this config file, where should be? You keep it wherever you want it. You can keep it here also, you can keep it in Jenkins server also, you can keep it wherever you want. Which the place, again I'm saying, conceptually the place where you have a kubectl and config, that's your workstation.
Okay,
Am
right,
I
right,
clear?
right, right, I can understand. Right.
Rajesh, this config is in a YAML format or JSON format?
No, it is in YAML actually. Okay,
Can you show me
i'll
an example of this actually
I'll show you.
native?
Just, I'm going to that question.
Yeah.
I'm going. Okay guys, so now here, this is the stuff. Just again, here, this is the stuff. So yeah, I missed that few things actually in the discussion. Okay, yeah, so the question is, yes, understand guys, any machines, conceptually think, architecture wise you think, any machines which is having kubectl and config with these things, we will have that machine as a workstation, any machine. Now the question is, this you have to please read it again, I'm requesting, because it's a kind of you won't understand how this API authentication happen. And in fact, for MD guys also, those who are coming from the MD, you need to learn this one, because we have a multiple microservices, and how do we authenticate these multiple microservices, that we need to learn actually. So here you have to read more about it. Okay, so yeah, so now the question was, where this file would be there. So let me tell you guys, kubectl whenever you run the command kubectl, this application, whenever you run, then this config file is being looked in the two location. Either one is a user home and dot cube, okay, or current directory home and dot cube. This is the two location what you have: user home dot cube, current home dot cube. This is the location. So now again I go back to this my notes. Here you see which notes I got it here. It says, see, home dot cube, and then see the content of this file is going to the dot cube. See here, correct now? And then giving the permission. So that's the reason you should check it out. Again, let me tell you here, you can keep it a custom location also, that's not a problem. But again, I'm not putting so much of complexity to begin with, so you get lost, because those are the things you can find it out easily if you are intelligent enough with your Kubernetes. Okay, so that's the one thing. So now I think that is okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that machine. So here for my demo, I am making the workstation and master both in the same machine. Okay, and there's a mini advantage for it, because the demo will be very smooth in that case. Others will have to move machine to machine, here to there. So that's the stuff. So this is the machine which I set it up last session. Kubernetes master, and then here EC2 hyphen user. Okay, now you see here, now you can do this stuff, using any user. Again, I'm saying any user. Okay, but be mindful, whichever the generic user, which is the regular user, you do that. So I've decided this is my regular user, and then creating a directory, copying a file, giving the permission with the sudo. That's all. And guys, that's all. My workstation is completed. My workstation is set up. Now you want to know what is this config file. Let me show you and let's prove it. Guys, look at this here, API version 1, clusters. Did I not talk about clusters? And clusters has a multiple cluster. Here you have only one cluster. What is the name of it? Kubernetes. See, this is the entry, one cluster. So yes, conceptually, if you are working on the multiple cluster, can't you store one more entry, two more entry? This is a YAML file, right? Correct? Are you getting my points? Hello?
Yeah, Rajesh.
Yeah.
Now, second thing I said, contexts. Context. Look at this here, context. S, look at this, S, context, S. And here there's only one context. By the way, before context, I should have talked about the user. So go back, go down, and there little bit. See, users. There is only one user. What is the name of the user? Kubernetes admin. User, this is certificate. Just avoid, because there's too much of data. This is a client certificate and all. And for that, I'm again reminding you, please read this, because many people get scared only. They don't understand how this today's modern world's microservices authentication certificate works. Okay, so that's important. So here, this is the one. Now, see here, this is the users. There was a clusters, and here you have a context, and here only one context, and matching this is Kubernetes coming from here, and the username is coming from here, and then the name of the context is Kubernetes-admin @ the name can be anything. Again, I'm saying here, and last one I said it should be current context. So look at this, current context. That's all. Understood, guys?
Yeah, Rajesh. I mean, whatever you've said, it makes sense. But in the production environment, when we go to work, it'll definitely be more than one clusters. It will be more than one users. So would there be any possibility you could demonstrate something in practical terms, like the production environment?
So production environment, you will get three information. One is this one is this one, and you have to create your own context, whichever the name you like it. Don't set, if you don't want to set up in the context, that's okay. If you want to set up in the context, now maybe your question is, can I put, instead of interacting with all these complicated files, is it possible to do all of this work through command line? Is that you're saying?
Yeah,
That means,
definitely. This was one of the things. All right. Yeah, you just carry on, and by the end of your conversation, I think I'll have many questions. You might answer them before, so I'll just keep quiet for the moment.
okay. So yeah. So guys, this is the configuration file. Now I have two elements already configured. This guy is ready. Let me make it a green. This guy is ready. This guy is ready. Now, can I do one thing? I want to know, because worker is set up against the API server. Forget about the, sorry, worker not, workstation and master. And I don't care about the work right now. So can I do one thing? Can I run only kubectl? Because I have no idea what is the rest of the commands I should run. So can I only run a command called kubectl? And the moment I type kubectl, I got to know so many commands. See here. And please, at least 10 minutes spend here when you do the lab. Okay, basic commands: create, expose, Kubernetes command, basic command, intermediate, deploy commands, cluster management command, troubleshooting commands, okay, advanced commands, setting commands, other commands. Very well organized. And I think in a Docker this was not organized well, but I organized well in that this way only. If you remember anyone from the Docker session, let me remind you, if you forgot, Docker commands. See here, this page, if you remember, I organized like, okay, first command, working with the containers, monitoring containers, working with the images, working with the registry and stuff like that. So same way it's organized very nicely here. I like this work. Okay, so now these are the commands, but can you tell me one thing, which command I should run which will help me to know the status of my API server? Because API, see, right now this guy can talk to API server because of the config file, but I need to know whether the connection is okay or not, whether its connection is good or not. So I have no idea about those commands. So you tell me which command, because those commands will go into the cluster management commands, right? So which command I should use it to know about the cluster? Any idea? Any idea?
Well, it should be something like status command.
No. Just look the selected one. I already selected to give you
Plus
enough here.
cluster info.
Cluster info.
Yes. So see, I did not know about the commands, but immediately I learned myself. And let me tell you guys one important thing here. And please hear me out very clearly. In Kubernetes, when you go for the certification, it's an open book exam. The more you explore and learn from yourself with the help of their inbuilt help command and documentation of the official documentation, then it will help you more in the certification. Because there's only two things which is open. One is the cluster help command, which you can enjoy a lot, and second thing is official documentation, which you have to study, and each and every pages you have to go through that. Okay, so apart from that, you cannot access any website, any other website. So the more you practice the inbuilt help functionality, it will help you to learn the Kubernetes in a better way. So I was not knowing, but I learned how. This is the one of the way to get this stuff, and then clear the screen. I just do this, run this, and here, okay, good. I got this Kubernetes master is running at dab. See, this is the API server, HTTPS, and now kubedns is running at dab. Okay, and to further debug and diagnose cluster problem, use this one. See, let's run it. This let's not limit our learnings. Let's at least try. Let's not try to finish the lab time. Okay, I have to do in 5 minutes. Be slow. Be observing the things is more important part. And okay, so many things are there actually. See, when I got lost. Okay, so what we will do, if you are really very keen to learn all this stuff, this one, this one, all this thing. What you will do, put it in the divert into the HTML, text file, and then look at it in the
Awesome.
very nice editor, okay, and then you see that here, look at this here. But right now, not to complicate, okay, but at least my cluster is running. Okay, my cluster is running, and I would like to know how many nodes are there. I would like to list out the nodes. So again, I have no idea about the commands, so I will write a kubectl. So guys, any help if I want to list out the node? So what we will do,
Get nodes.
yes, get nodes. Yes, so here kubectl get nodes,
Get nodes.
and here, that's all I wanted to reach here only. And you will see this is the host name of my master. Status is not ready. A role is master. Now what is this role? So role is master, that means it's when you set up a kubeadm in it, they will set up a roles and put this machine into the master roles. Age is 47 hours, and this is the version 1.18. I was expecting 1.19. How come I got to 1.18? I'm not sure about it. Okay, no problem. So here, this is the not ready. So guys, if there's a not something which is not ready, then what you should do? What you should do?
You have to run
Run
the
it.
pods, then only it will be going for the
No. You should do, if something is not running, you should try with the troubleshooting and debugging commands. Describe, log, attach, exec, forward, proxy, cp, auth. So many commands you have it right now. But you know, I'm not complicating your understanding to begin with. My node is not ready. Why it is not ready, I know that, but you don't know that. So what I will do, I will use one of the command to describe. How do you do that? kubectl describe. What do you want to describe? Node. What is node? Node. kubectl describe node. This is the node name. And here, so much of logs. I will go slowly. I will read each and every line. I will observe it. Name, roles, labels, annotations, unscheduled, conditions, memory related stuff. And here you see, in this condition type, there is one thing which I see here, something fishy. I read it. What is this? It says message Docker network plugin is not ready. CNI config uninitialized. Okay, that is okay. Can I go further? And if I go further, everything is okay. So for me, everything is okay, but here something is not happened. Are you getting opens? I just described the node and node is not ready. So what is this? What is this error is all about? So guys, let me simplify this stuff. Okay, let me simplify this stuff. Now, I don't know how many of you have set up a desktop in early days. I used to do in my college days actually. I used to set up a desktop. I used to install operating system from CDs, right? And then after that, once you install operating system, then what you used to do? Anyone remember? After the operating system, you used to install something else also. Anyone remember? Anyone have done it? Or I am the oldest guy in this group?
Driver.
You have to
Students,
drivers. You have to
updated
run all the
drivers.
drivers, networking drivers, basically.
Correct, correct.
On drivers.
See, in the physical machines or laptop, you know that network device is there. Think about it. And you have also attached the networking cable also. But still the network was not coming. Still the internet was not coming. Why? Because you need a driver. For sound, you need a sound device is there. But sound also need a driver. Sound driver, audio driver. Then graphics is there, graphics card is there, but it's not displaying properly because of the driver of the graphics is not there. So for every devices, think about it, you need a driver. That driver is some sort of software which basically interact with the operating system and make it happen. So here, that was the physical server era. In the virtual era, everything is become a applications. So here what it's saying, see here, network node is not ready. Why it is not ready? When I describe the node, I got to know runtime network is not ready. I mean, see, remember in the cluster, how this, now you assume this one is a node in your cluster. All these are node. So how this node will talk to each other if the networking itself is not there? Because networking in Kubernetes, network is there on the for the pod network. Remember, no, I'm not talking the physical network. They do not communicate for the on the physical network. Again, I'm repeating, Kubernetes do not send the data packets over the node network. It travels to each other through the pod network, and that was not installed, that was not ready. So now the question is, it's not ready. I will not confuse you more. With that, I'm going to ask you to read this message only. Only this one. Only this one.
Yeah, you should not deploy a pod network to cluster. Run kubectl apply -f pod network.yaml. So there is a YAML file we need to deploy, yeah?
Correct, yes. And for that, I need to get this. Now the question is, guys, in earlier we need to have a few network driver, but now remember in Ansible discussion, I said there are so many network drivers, policies we call it actually in Kubernetes. So many network policies we have. So we have a many policies which satisfy three requirement of networking in Kubernetes. Anyone remember that requirement of the networking? Anyone?
Yeah, pods should talk to pods, and
No, it's not.
pods with nodes.
Any pod can communicate with any other pod of the any nodes. Any node can communicate with the any pod. And third one, no NAT. Okay, without NAT. So guys, these drivers which has come up and satisfy the Kubernetes network eligibility requirements. These are the, okay. I will get into the networking session in a separate one, not now, but we will use for time being ViewNet, or we will with Calico also, Flannel also. Calico is here. Now, which are these we will discuss in little bit later class, okay? But we will apply this ViewNet. Click on
It
it.
is all the CNS, right, Rajesh?
Haji?
CNS, right? These all are.
Yeah, these
Kubernetes
all are
network
CNI.
interfaces.
Yeah, CNI drivers actually. Policy we call it in Kubernetes. See here, networking and network policies. These are the one. Okay. So there's a different one, different has a some different one, different pros and cons and stuff like that. So it's like that. Now the question is, how do I find that YAML file? See, it's looking for the YAML pod network.yaml file. So this website has changed actually quite a bit, and I could not get a time to spend on this. Okay, so here I will just check out if I can easily get that file, and the file, it's asking me to install it, I mean log in and stuff like that, and actually I want to avoid it. Okay, actually I want to avoid it, and you can do it, spend some time, log in and follow this stuff. And here it says Weave Cloud installation and setup, and here it says configuring Kubernetes ECS. This is Amazon EC2. So let's check it out, this one. So this whole stack has changed and I need to spend some time. But for time being, what I'm going to give you, before this website, they had got it. They had given me that URL that I'm going to apply right now. In future, when we talk about that networking session, then we will go through this website and then understand that, because right now I don't want to waste a time learning the navigation of VivNet. So I have to search.
Rajesh, there were so many networking drivers when you were browsing through the Kubernetes website. So can we use any of them?
Yeah, you can use any of them, but for the certification purpose, we have to stick to the Calico, VivNet, and one more, Flannel.
All right, okay.
So those are the things. So I'm stick to those one only. Just a second, hold on. I am just locating this VivNet URL that I am having it, but where I kept it, I just need to get that. So I got it. So here, this is the URL. I'm also putting up in the chat, I mean your notes. So now here, if you go in the notes section, here I'm putting up. Now the question is, where do you get it? So if you work on this website, okay, new UI, you'll get something like this. Okay, something like this. So guys, I'm installing this here. Now, show restart EC2 hyphen. I'll just run this command. What is this? Oh. Okay, done guys, installation done. Now if you see that command which I run, it has created so many things, but what is these things I'll talk about in the RBAC session. Right now not interested. qctl get nodes. Now it's ready.
Rajesh,
Yeah.
I'm not clear on this drivers, like which we downloaded, which is fine. I'm not conceptually clear why it was failing. So you said we need the driver, which is understood any bare operating system. You need to install the driver. So do you mean to run the master, we need the drivers on the operating system, whatever it is? That's what you said.
No. Actually, see, remember master is there for having the managing the pods, correct now? Remember?
Yes.
Now all these pods, and if you look for the architecture, or look for the all this architecture, where is that? Here, if you remember the documents here, these all are pods only. All these are pods, correct now? The documents are lost it. Just a second, hold on, let me go to that. Here it is. This. So here, so these all are pods only. So now the question is, when I did get nodes, then master was set up but not ready to work. So it was said status not ready. It was not saying error, or it was not saying not installed or something. It was saying not ready. And for readying, you have to have pod network, and pod network policies I just implemented with the help of ViewNet, and which you have seen here, and then that it got ready. Simple. Now, yeah, I know that you are trying to find out the architecture information about how this pod network works, but networking is the second last topic after the storage. So I will wait till that moment. But for that time, if you have a confusion about what is a networking policy, so remember, for every networking, whether it's a pod network, container network, virtual machine network, or physical network, it required the driver to work with. So without a driver, how it will work? So in a physical network, you install through CDs. In the virtual machines, you used to install through the hypervisor. In the container, you used to, if you remember, in a container you had a bridge network. Automatically plugins were already installed for you. But in Kubernetes, when you set up, you don't get any default network. That's the problem. So we have a, here we have option to select out of so many. So I selected one of each. That's all.
Got it. And these the network providers, they are like a third party, right? So open source
Yeah,
third party providers.
sir, there's no first party and second party. Everyone is community in Kubernetes world.
All right.
Everyone is developing through community. So maybe these driver policies is coming from the some established companies, but these all are open source. You can go and find out the code on GitHub. Let me show you. ViewNet code GitHub. So all codes you can find on the GitHub. See here.
Fine. Yep. Got it. Yep.
Okay. So
Rajesh, I have
guys,
a question. I have a question here. I'm actually extending the conversation Warren was talking about. Yeah. So every pod should be able to talk to every other pod, or every node should be able to talk to any other pod. That's right. But we've not
right.
created any worker nodes yet. We've not created any pods yet. So this policy should apply on the worker nodes rather on master.
Oh, again you missed that.
We already have pods in master, right?
Again you missed the architecture actually. Here,
Yeah.
remember?
So master already
Yeah.
they are already as an application codes, right?
They already so many pods.
All right. Okay. I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Good.
itself and a
Getting
post,
old.
right? So they are integrated.
Okay guys, so now we have a this is ready. So now guys, here my worker is ready, my sorry workstation is ready, and my master is ready. Now I am going to validate how many pods you have. So right now let me tell you, I'm not conceptually telling you what I am doing, but I'm just getting a pods. Okay, there's no pods, but here it says no resources found in a default namespace. Now what is the default namespace? I'm not explaining you right now, but all namespaces. And guys, let me make it little bit shorter. Ayo. Guys, here this is the one. So remember, now I talked about in the master all the pods. So this is the core DNS, etcd, API server, controller manager, proxy, scheduler, and this is the network. Understand? All pods are running. And remember the pod life cycle: running, pending, running, failed, succeeded. And you see all are running from last 47 hours because last session. And then this is just now I just got it now. This now you must be wondering, I said these are the pod with has a one container, but this pod has a two container. You see 2 by 2. Okay, So guys, this is your workstation and this is the master, and my thing is done. My last thing which I'm going to show you, which is worker, in next 6 minutes, and I'm not going to explain you much because you all have already understand in worker what you need: kubelet, kubeproxy, docker engine, kubedium, all these things. How do I get it? You know that very well. There's one URL which I have shared with you, and which is here, I think, right? Yeah, here. So these two URL. So I am going to create quickly without much of explanation. I'm going to follow the instruction. Just you watch me doing it. Nothing doing great, only except one step, which I'll talk about it. So guys, I am creating one box. Okay, this I'll go for 1 GB, 2 CPU, or 1 CPU, 2 GB, one machine. 10 GB is okay for time being. Name worker KX worker configuration dup. Guys, no firewall. Remember, this is a worst practice. I'm doing it, but just for the learning. I don't want any port related permission issues right now. I want the flawless lab demo, sorry, and that's all. So here, this is the machine, I got it, and I'm going to log in here. I just log in here, and Mumbai, and I'll just improve the view of this guy, and 16, click OK. EC2-user. Okay, this is login. I'll become a sudo, so that way everything can be done. And I'm doing nothing, but you know that everything I have already shown you. Your worker also needed Docker. Explanation has been made already. I'm just doing fast. So run. And guys, by the way, let me tell you, by the time we have a YouTube, I have enabled the membership here. So those who are interested, you may try this one. Just please read it out. Probably it will help you if you guys are interested. So here, join, and there is a 3 option which is there: standard level associate, premium level professionals, and VIP level expert. So the plan is very simple. You can read all this stuff here. What is the advantage which you are going through? And one of the advantage which I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to push lots of content on this YouTube channel. So this is the one thing. So it's like a professional level. So here, many content, like around 40 tools, the content I'm going to push it, and that will be visible only to this premium content, will be visible to only the premium level professionals. So just do check it out. If it's find it interesting, you can try, and I'll get some support from them. So yes, this is the stuff, and LMB. Done. Done. And yes, done. Yes, done.
That means you can put all this in a shell file and just execute straight away.
Yes. No, that's automation, but I'm doing a training. No, that's a problem. I could have done it in one go itself. You don't have to do all this stuff also. Just create a EKS cluster. That's all.
Yeah. Yesterday, I just spent the time to create a packer
Okay.
to all the scripts, and then you said like it is not running for drivers, so I'll go back and append that driver as well into it, packer
Nice.
image.
Do share those kind of blogs and stuff like that with all of us, so we'll have a less trouble and all. So we have one community on the Google groups, or you can also drop me an email with your notes blog URL. I'll share with all people.
Yep.
So enable and then start. Docker is done, guys, and now you know the next thing also, and this is the URL which I followed. And here you have to do everything again. If you read it, this article properly, you have to follow that. To set up a worker, you have to follow step 1 to step 7 except step 8, and instead of 8 you will follow this one. So what is that? Let me first follow those stuff. So I will start following from here, because remaining in AWS is already there. And here and after that
Rajesh, can you share this all the links in the chat
it's
box,
already
because if we
there.
don't have this all links.
Already there in the notes, actually, super notes. I'm taking from the notes which I shared you every day. Here it is. Okay, so guys, I did it, but again, do not make mistake. Not kubeadium init. Do not make mistake. Not kubeadium init. Okay, init should be done only to the master, and we need only one master today. So now what should be done? Join. But from where to get it? And if you remember, then you read this one, last one. Got it, guys? Did you read it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So here,
Yes,
any
Rajesh.
nodes, again I'm saying a static, any nodes you run, any nodes which has a prerequisite installed, just like I did it, and you run this command, that machine will become a worker. Again I'm repeating, any nodes where you run these commands after the prerequisite installation, that node, that machine, that VM can become a worker of that particular master. So here I'm running it, it will fail it. I'm running in the node, by the way, remember, it will fail. Why? We should know that error. This is a black one is a worker, remember, black one is a worker. Come on, fail quickly. It's not showing me something. Okay, so meanwhile, let me talk about it. Will fail, and the reason is answer is failure reason is answer is hidden in this. Okay, so there's some noise coming from someone. Please mute yourself. Okay, so now the question is, what is this? So let me tell you here, guys. So I put it in a simple way. If you go to office, your own office, are you being asked to go? Are you being questioned to go? Like, who are you? Are you being questioned every time when you go to office?
No, you've got your key fob or something where you can actually authenticate yourself into the main door and you
Right.
can
Yes,
get in.
yes. But if I go to your office, I'll be asked at the front gate itself, right? Correct?
Yeah, you have to go and report to the reception. In this case, it would be like an IPA server where you will get your certificate and
Correct. So it's like this, guys. This token is your access card to go and become a part of your master family, become a part of your cluster, this token. So if anyone has this token, who can become a part of the worker cluster automatically. But those who's not having this token, we will not have the, we will not get access to do that. Okay, that's the problem. So what is happening here? So the problem here is not coming the URL because of certain reason. I have to enable the verbose mode multiple times, but I hardly care. If I go to the master, I will write kubeadium. Remember kubeadium, init join, init for master, join for worker. But if I write kubeadium, then I get token, because master has created this token. And here I do -h. So what I want, list. So I want to see the list of token. Okay, and here you see kubeadium token list, there's none. That means the token which I'm passing, actually what has happened, this error you won't get it, but I got it. Why? Because the token which I had it got expired and deleted. That's the reason that request got stuck for me. It's not going further. It's being someone is at the API server stopping me, saying that, boss, who are you? Feed that information. So something like that. So right now that token got expired. So what we do now in this case, I am going to generate a new token. So for that, again, I have a command token generate, but I need a full command to generate a token for the permanent. Okay, permanent. So here kubeadium, 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 and token, enter. And I need that command to generate a token. Okay, and here do you see this block has been spoiled because of because of because of this skeleton. The code got spoiled. I will correct it little bit later, but now I'm going to generate a token. So here kubeadium token generate TTL0 means lifetime. I'm generating one token quickly, not delaying. I generated a token, which is that which says that it was not on the form. Just a second, that command got expired. So in this case, I have to, let me try some other. Okay, so what is this problem? This version is not supporting that command, but no problem. I have that ways to get to know, and that is called generate -h. And here I got this exact command, and where is the TT? Well, just a second, guys. Create generate TT well.
But Rajesh, still we are not at any cube in it, kubeadium in it, right?
No, init is not there. No, I told you very specifically. Okay, there's spelling mistake. Sorry, there's a permission problem. So here, cube ADM init will be done in the master only. I'm generating only token. That's all. Okay, guys. So there was a problem in this command because sometime what happens, this is the confusion. Sometime when you copy this, might have written hyphens, double hyphen, but it has taken single hyphen, and then here you give the double hyphen, you get it. So this is the token which you can generate. So token list, and you have this token. Now I can use this token. The token is forever. TTL is forever. So here I will just replace this token, and in the node, I am running, and guys, everything is done. Can you please read quickly this message? Everyone, you can shout if you want. Got it? Are you there, guys?
Yeah.
QCTL. Now workstation. Remember, workstation, not a master. I'm in workstation. Why? Because I'm a root. Here, exit. So that confusion you have to clear all this time. Guys, ready. So guys, everything is ready. My workstation is ready. My master is ready. My workstation is ready. My worker is ready with one worker. And remember that command, if I run in a 10 machines, it will become a 10 machine worker. By the way, let me tell you, if you set up a same day, that time you will not get that error which I got it, because my TTL, the one which Kubernetes generate, it's active only for 24 hours. After that it get expired. But this time what I did, I generated a token for the 0, that means lifetime, forever. So this is not a good practice, but I did it because I don't want it to recreate again and again. Okay, guys, so this is the entire story of Kubernetes till cluster setup and understanding each and every block of it. And from now onwards, we will only study API object, and for that one only Kubernetes is a magical tool. Okay, any questions? Any questions, guys?
Rajesh,
Whilst you're
normally,
doing it,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, Rajesh, normally when we're configuring the Kubernetes cluster, okay, multi-node cluster, in that time, in the master machine, we are doing a kube init. In that time, we are using some commands, creating a configuration files stuff. After that, it will be giving a one what token joining token. Okay, so that using that token also we can integrate all the worker nodes to the Kubernetes master, right? So why we are
Yes, yes,
generating this?
that's the problem. I said, sir, what do you think? Anyone else has that answer? Why I did generated the token?
Because the token
Guys?
got expired.
Yeah. So token got expired. It was only for
well, yeah,
24 hours. That was I was talking about.
Okay. Every 24 hours, we have to generate token.
Yes, and this time I played a very clever role, clever things. I generated a token not for 24 hours, forever. That means now it will not generate. Let me tell you here one more thing. This token is not for authentication for pod. This token only for the joining the nodes. Okay, so this is not, you can consider as like it will be used for token. Also you can use for the authentication, but this is the different topic actually. So typically we use the secret token. Those are the things we need to discuss in a little bit others class, but right now don't get confused with the too many things.
Okay, right.
Okay, so now
Rajesh, I've got an IPA. I've got an IPA server made on my machine. So if someone wants help, I can tell them about the TLS and this token generation authentication through IPA server.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. To watch our complete session, enroll for our premium membership. Click onto the join button and enroll yourself with the best suited option.
Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Want to study further? Subscribe to our paid membership to get a deep dive into each and every topic. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to our DevOps School channel and hit the bell icon to learn more. Keep learning.